Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is a Monday morning, June 26th. It is a bit more cloudy than yesterday, you can see. It is also a bit cooler than yesterday. A lot cooler, well, a bit cooler. At the moment it is 19 degrees, as you can see in the ticker. The wind currently blows from the west, 270 degrees with 14 knots, varying a bit between southwest and northwest. Otherwise, visibility is good, a few clouds at 1700 feet. The air pressure is about the same as it was over the last couple of days. I'm standing next to the polderbaan, where the firefighters just did their daily round. They just returned to base and are now, I don't know if it is testing their equipment or if it is refreshing the water. Not sure if that is something that you need to do. Refresh the water that you have on board. It says that the wind is blowing from the west on average. But if we have a look in the water, the ripples are definitely flowing from north to south. And also if you look in the distance to the chimney of the factory in Westport area, the smoke blows away from us, but also a little bit towards us. So I would say that the wind is blowing from the northwest at the moment. In fact, the windsock at the fire station, and that should be over there. It is actually blowing from the west, perpendicular to the runway. Two runways are in use for departures at the moment. Polderbaan to the north and Kaagbaan as runway 24 to the southwest. Arrivals take place on one runway at the moment, and that is runway 27. We're waiting for the first airplane to arrive. I see that there are 3 airplanes underway. 2 737s, one Embraer 175. Oh, and I think the A319 to London Gatwick might also come this way. They should become visible in the distance in a moment. I think the first one is already visible in the center of the screen. In the meantime, STFN, Rowenda, Jono, 68 Twig, good morning. André, goedemorgen. Benjamin, good morning. Design by Jensen, good morning. Daniel, goedemorgen. Marius, goedemorgen. Und Bayerischer Schweizer, guten Morgen. Servus. Is that something you also use as a greeting in Switzerland? No, it was Grüezi, right? So I'm not sure how much traffic we are going to see with the prevailing wind, since 024 is also being used at the moment. Not sure which one they are going to close down when the wind subsides, and they might go for one runway for departures. Only one way to find out. There is more humidity in the air. I'm also looking around. I do see a bit of contrail remnants here and there in the distance. So if anything interesting is coming this way, do let me know. Grüezi. Okay. Goedemorgen, Bayerischer Schweizer. Hey, goedemorgen from Christopher in South Africa. The viewer who is now furthest away from Amsterdam, as far as I can tell. Where winter has begun. Of course, other hemisphere, The same for the people in Australia and New Zealand. Well, let's see what these airplanes are going to do. As I was setting up, a few planes arrived and they all went to the entrance right here. This one will do too. So, providing us that nice head-on shot that you see over here. This is KLM flight 1533, Embraer 175, destination Darlington. And this is a 5-year-old Embraer that had its first flight in November 2017. And hey there, Adebos Kessil Jr. Damon, good morning. Checking in from South Wales. Gosse, goedemorgen. Was goed, kerel. So crosswind from the left for the airplanes now taking off to the north. You can immediately see them having to lean into the wind a little bit. They do lean more to the left. You can already hear the next airplane. It is also coming to this entrance, and it is a 737. KLM flight 1007 going to London Heathrow 787 737-800. This airplane, 12 years old, first flight was in March 2011. Well, the next 737 is already lined up on the runway threshold, spooling up as we speak. This is a 737-800 going to Oslo. Flight 1143. A 12-year-old 737 had its first flight in May 2011. En goedemorgen Richard. En gaat zeker goed hoor. Beetje warmpjes hier. Was having second thoughts. Should I go in shorts and t-shirt or should I wear a vest and jeans? I chose the latter. I'm happy that there is a little bit of wind. I also didn't put any sunscreen on, so I am kind of sort of obligated to keep dressed, not take off the vest, otherwise I will get burned. But yeah, first world problems, eh? I'm not complaining. EasyJet flight 28673, Airbus A319, destination London Gatwick, 16 years old this airplane. Its first flight was in August 2006. Ooh, and good evening to the Hobart aviation fan who is tuning in from Tasmania. So it is not only evening already, it is also just become winter over there. Exactly opposite land. Right. In the meantime, a departure from 06 in the distance. This is what you can see of departures from the 0624. This is what you can see of Kaagbaan departures from over here. Looks like a 737. Though I would have to double check with flight radar. Now, I do see a bit of heavies active on the platform, going to Detroit and Dallas. Now these are all extremely highly likely candidates to depart from the Polderbaan. First up is going to be this Embraer 190 KLM flight 987, a countdown flight number going to London City. This Embraer 9 years old, first flight January 2014. And if I look to my left, if I look on flight radar, there should be an A320 from Aer Lingus to Cork be underway. Also looking behind me, do I see any vehicles on the runway? No, I do see a bird. No, that's not a bird control vehicle. No runway inspections or anything going on right now. And Richard, I once again forgot to bring cookies. I did have a good breakfast just now, so I hope that I will manage until the end of the morning, beginning of the afternoon. And Bayerische Schweizer, I do have a day job, but my day job is such that I can get by with only 2 days a week. So that is what I'm doing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So it finally got clearance and it is on its way to London City. Christopher is saying that they are in the grip of a very cold winter over there. Dare I ask how cold the temperatures over there, the day highs are right now? It is that time of year, of course, over there. Yesterday I was joking winter is coming, or the other day, about me eating red cabbage for dinner. But winter has arrived by the sound of it on the southern hemisphere. Here we have a Shamrock A320 going to Cork, the old livery of Aer Lingus. It is flight 841 and this A320 is 14 years old. First flight of this airplane was in January 2009. Mr. Ozas, it's me, Mario, good morning. Hey there, Angelic, good morning. Are you night owling or early birding? Hey, goedemorgen Ronald. and 12 to 15 degrees C with plenty of rain. That does sound chilly. Now yesterday over here we had highs of 30 degrees Celsius or approximately 90 degrees Fahrenheit if you're used to Fahrenheit. And it also stayed warm until very late. I think it was around 10 p.m. that I opened my doors to see if the temperature had dropped, but it was still warmer outside than it was inside, so I kept everything shut until I went to bed and then opened up all the windows and stuff. Now it's much cooler, fortunately. Day and night difference. Still 19 degrees at the moment, but that is perfectly fine. That is at least weather temperatures that allow for outdoor activities without getting soaking wet from sweating. Now, let's see, in the pipeline at the moment is an Embraer coming and leaving for Leeds. Let's see, I thought I saw it. Oh yeah, there it is. So it is on its way, Embraer 190 from KLM. Looks like there is also another Embraer 190 to Liverpool on their way. And Angelic is night owling. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if I recall correctly, Angelic, you're from the West Coast as well, aren't you? So that is 9 hours of time difference. So it's still almost 1 a.m. over there. En goedemorgen Belinda en Han. Laura, good morning, goedemorgen. Hey Rick, goedemorgen. Ja, alles prima kerel. Met jou ook? And Max says today is a heavy day, so relaxing for a minute with this stream is totally awesome. I'm happy to hear that, Max. Glad that I can provide you with a little bit of distraction and relaxation in the day. Ah, Los Angelic, hence the name. Right. Looking us in the face is KLM flight 1541 Embraer 190 going to Leeds in the United Kingdom. It is a 14-year-old airplane that had its first flight in April of the year 2009. Rain? Did you guys have rain in the North, Rick? I think we haven't seen a single droplet over here in the west, in the Amsterdam area. Well, you do what you have to do, Rick. You know that. It's always a pleasure to have you in the chat. But if you're busy, you're busy. That's just life. And I'm looking forward to the heavies as well, Christopher. I think everybody is. We'll have to wait a bit longer though. There are several now live on Flight Radar on the main platform area. I think several are getting pushed back at the moment. The first airplane to come this way is likely going to be the Embraer. Yeah, no, it is the Embraer 190 from KLM to Liverpool. So we'll have to make do with the Embraers first. Get our daily dose of Embraer in. Now that's never a problem over here at Schiphol Airport. The most prevalent airplane type, I would think. Oh, you guys had a few showers in the north. Okay. Of course it had to hit Leeuwarden. A visit to the north is not a true visit to the north if you haven't visited Leeuwarden. Now there are a couple of airplanes on the move over here by the looks of it. Few 737s, or are they? Oh no, more Embraer 190s. Well, if you're particularly fond of the Embraer 190, ladies and gentlemen, then you're in luck. We're going to see a few back to back. Starting with this. This is KLM flight 1179. And it is an Embraer 190. Who would have thought? Its destination, Linköping. I thought it was Liverpool. The airport abbreviations are a bit similar. This airplane, 11 years old, first flight January 2012. And there was the bird controller. Christopher will be flying to Thailand via Dubai in August on the A380. Definitely something I would be looking forward to as well, mate. Do let us know how it was when you have been. K3 is the bird controller on duty right now, patrolling 24/7. Yesterday we had a nice demonstration of all the tools they have in the toolbox, including the soundboard that you don't always hear when live streaming. So if you're curious to listen and see what fireworks and soundboard things they have at their disposal, do check yesterday's stream. It was timestamped in the highlights in the description of the stream and also in the pinned comment. Definitely worth checking out if you missed it or want to see it again. Now, let me show you guys a little bit of the big picture over here. This is facing south. You can see a few high clouds. Looking land inward to the east, you see more overcast, more cloudiness. Looking a bit to the northeast, it looks a bit the same. Looking straight north, looks a bit better. Also to the northwest, where the wind is approximately coming from. Wind is coming from the west to northwest. So that would be from this direction. So it looks like a more open type of air is coming this way as the day progresses. Now, there are a couple of airplanes that are coming this way. I count 3 at the moment. And hey there, Alvin and Peter. both from down under. Good evening, fellas. Hope you all are doing well. And on yesterday evening I opened all windows so all mosquitoes could enter, then I closed them after dark and slept in the garden. That is an excellent strategy to deal with mosquitoes. I have to remember that. Right, the first Embraer 190 is taxiing to the runway threshold. Will arrive in a few seconds. Let's see what the second one is going to do. It is following suit, so don't have to wait for them to come this way. Now there is a third airplane underway. It is a 737-900. It might still come this way or also go to the runway threshold. We'll first keep ourselves entertained with these two Embraer 190s. The first of which is KLM flight 1173 going to Trondheim. 13 years old. First flight July 2009. Do see them bank left and right a little bit shortly after they have left the ground. But there is wind, that is for sure. Even though I might not feel a lot of it because I think I am a bit in the wind shade of a few trees and buildings that are standing over here, and this is also where the wind is coming from. So I think I might not feel all of the wind that the pilots are experiencing over there when they leave the ground. Now, in the meantime, the 737 has also taxied to the runway threshold, so no up-close departures just yet. Lined up right now is another KLM Embraer 190. This one is going to Gdansk in Poland. It is KLM flight 1917. The airplane is 13 years old and first began flying in September 2009. Hey there Marco, hey there Arjan, goedemorgen allemaal. Now, next up, KLM flight 1127, Boeing 737-900 going to Copenhagen. 21 years old, first flight September 2001. And Ronald is informing us that a 777 and an A350 are underway. The heavies are finally on the move. So if you just tuned in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan, currently in use as runway 36 left, which together with runway 24 are the two runways in use for departures at the moment. The prevailing wind is blowing from the west on average, varying a bit between southwest and northwest. So that means that there's wind on average blowing perpendicular to the runway heading. The wind is not extremely hard, so it is still doable for the pilots. This is a turn and burn from KLM flight 1207. Number 175 going to Christiansand. This airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in February 2018. And good morning to Wayne Merriman, checking in from Stoke-on-Trent in the United Kingdom. How nice of you to say hi there. Welcome, Wayne. All other viewers who are new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi just like Wayne did. Friendly folk over here in the chat. We encourage new viewers to say hi. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask. A lot of knowledgeable people over here in the chat. Friendly folk as well. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this as much as we are. There are a bunch of airplanes now coming this way, you can see it. Also an A350 in the back. So we get a nice mix of lightweight and heavies. The first lightweight airplane, the narrowbody from EasyJet, is taxiing to the runway threshold. It's being followed by this 777. No, it's not a 777. It is a Dreamliner 7879 to Bogota. And we're hearing one of the tools of the bird controllers, the explosives. Embraer 190 going to Dublin in the SkyTeam livery is following the Dreamliner, and in the back an A350 going to Detroit from Delta. Now in the meantime, the EasyJet has arrived at the runway threshold, so let us go back to that. This is EasyJet flight 22162, an Airbus A319, destination Manchester. It is 13 years old, first flight was in May 2010. Salut Camille! Comment ça va? Good to see you again. Marijn, goedemorgen. Good morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Over here in the Netherlands it is a bit cooler than it was yesterday. Yesterday we had highs of 30 degrees Celsius and it stayed warm until after midnight. Now it is around 20 degrees Celsius or approximately 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Much better doable. Meanwhile, to the left of me, to the right of me, I hear the sound of an airplane that is coming closer by. Let me quickly go around and show you guys. The Embraer 190 in the SkyTeam livery. She's going to Dublin. KLM flight 945, 11 years old, first flight April 2012. Richard is asking, how is it that you speak English so well? I don't know if that's true, but I don't know why that is. I guess practice makes perfect. And hey there Jip, goedemorgen, good morning. Now we're looking at KLM flight 749. This is Dreamliner 7879 to Bogota. This Dreamliner is 7 years old. Its first flight was in June of the year 2016. You can definitely see that there is crosswind from the left, or at least that there is crosswind. You don't necessarily see that it is from the left, but you do see that the airplanes on average need to bank left and right a few times to correct for the crosswind as soon as they have left the ground. Next up, Delta A350. This one going to Detroit. Flight 133, A350-900, 5 years old. First flight December 2017. And it does have a nice engine sound, doesn't it, Benjamin? The engine sounds great, the fuselage looks great. Which is why this is one of the two airplanes that I like the best when it comes to modern day airplanes. The total package, together with the now Airbus A220. Of course, the 747 is in a league of her own. Speaking of A220s, the next airplane to depart is exactly one of those. BCS-3, you can see on flight radar. That is because it was Bombardier C series before Airbus took it over. And this is the 300. Air Baltic flight 618 going to Riga. The airplane is 1 year old, first flight was in July 2021. You have to turn up the volume to hear it as it passes by, because these gear turbofan engines are so quiet. and we can already see what is coming next. Well, Ronald, actually it wasn't Airbus that did a good job with those 220s. It was Bombardier that originally developed them. Hence, when you look on flight radar, you can see that it says BCS3, namely the Bombardier C Series 300. There's also a 100 version. So in actuality, it was Bombardier that did a good job. You can see the BizJet heritage in the design. That is not very Airbus, although they did do a good job with the 350, I agree. And what a loud, crude machine this is in comparison. Speedbird Flight 429 going to London Heathrow, Airbus A319, 22 years old, generation of difference. First flight July 2000. Alrighty, if you guys listen closely, even with my directional microphone, and now particularly you should be able to hear it. It is a stationary airplane taxiing, and it is this one. My camera can focus properly on it. That would also be nice. It's not the first airplane. We have an American Dreamliner already taxiing to the runway threshold. This is the one we're hearing right now. What else is in the pipeline? It looks like another A220 from Air Baltic. Is that Air Baltic? Let's see. Yeah, going to Tallinn. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another batch, a second batch of 4 airplanes is coming this way. And we should be able to see them in the background. Also heavies. And narrow bodies. Right, time to go back to the runway threshold. The action is going to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, strap your seats. Here we go. Strap in, I should say. American Airlines Flight 221. Boeing 7878 Dreamliner going to Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. It is 6 years old, this airplane. First flight March 2017. Alright, the gear is retracting. And Rokost says, I like loudness. Well, in that case, your timing is perfect. This is going to get loud. Delta A330, flight 143, going to Seattle in Washington State. It is 7 years old. First flight, May 2016. Here we go. Look at that, immediately correcting for the crosswind. And the gear is going up, no issues there. Nothing needs to be cooled apparently. Bird controller coming this way. In the meantime, it's getting busy over here. Another A330 Embraer triple Airbus A320 or 319, and first this A220 from Air Baltic, flight 858 going to Tallinn. This airplane 6 years old, from the first flight November 2016. Hey there, Holland Wings and Donna. No need to apologize, Donna. It's good to overindulge every now and then, but you do need the time to recover from it. Everybody will understand that. Oh, bird controller turned around and is going away from us again. They don't want to see us apparently. Now, in the meantime, there's also an airplane that is going to take off from right here in a moment, but it is holding short. And further down the runway we have an EasyJet Airbus that just turned onto the runway threshold, so it is probably going to be next. Glancing to the left, keeping an eye out for that Embraer, but it is still holding short. Hey Jackie, goedemorgen. Martin, zeer goedemorgen to you too. Right. Let's see, this is flight 22922. It is an A319. Going to Bristol. 17 years old. Boom! Is there crosswind, sir? Why you ask? Oh, just random. That looked interesting. Now, quickly back to the Embraer that was holding short earlier, but is now creeping ahead, skipping the line. And hey there, Luca, good morning. Come stai oggi? This is an Embraer 175 flying as flight 1199 going to Stavanger. Let's see how its takeoff will go. Yes, very stable. Leave it up to the blues. This airplane is 6 years old. First flight was in June 2017. Now you guys already saw the pipeline, heavies, and the first one of the heavies is already lined up, ready to go. I think it is pulling up already. KLM flight 743 777-200 going to Lima in Peru. This airplane is 19 years old. First flight November 2003. And hey there, Daniel. And Jim the Jack Russell. Nice name. And hey, Jelena, goedemorgen. Good morning to you all. Hope everybody is doing well. Well, it is windier than it looks, Donna. Over here I'm standing in the shade of a building and some trees. So over here you might not get the same level of windiness that you get when you're out in the open field, and further down it is open field, as you guys probably have seen before. KLM flight 661, Airbus A330-300 going to Houston, Texas. She is 11 years old. First flight was in February 2012. The thing is that the wind on average is blowing from the west, so almost exactly perpendicular. Well, if it is blowing from the west, it is perpendicular to the runway heading. Now I'm standing more or less in the wind shade of the building and the trees over here, so you don't feel the same level of windiness as you do further out where the field is flat and unobstructed. Next up, another Sky Team livery KLM airplane. KLM flight 1073 going to Manchester, 737-900, 22 years old, first flight June 2001. Hey Bjarni, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show. All other viewers who are new to the channel, welcome. Do feel free to say hi. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Friendly folk over here in the chat. And also very knowledgeable, on average. Hey Michael, good morning. Another early session for you then, or a late one. Checking in from Florida. And this one is off to my place, Andrew Boyce is saying. Awesome. And Sasha, good morning. Looking at Russian alphabet, so should I say privet then? welcome. Hope you are enjoying yourself. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask. Next up is a big bird, KLM Flight 655. It is a 787-10 Dreamliner, the biggest of the family, going to Minneapolis. She is 2 years old, first flight December 2020. Sasha is from Russia, Moscow to be precise. Well, a warm welcome to you, Sasha. Hope you are enjoying the stream. Michael says it is 4:30 and it's early. I am an early riser. Well, if you just woke up and aren't going through, still having to go to bed, you can definitely call yourself an early riser. And yes, Jim the Jack Russell, I do also sometimes stand at Kruisweg, Kaagbaan. Absolutely. Although last week I haven't been. But I do also go there on a regular basis. Domingo asks if the airplane from Suriname has landed yet on Schiphol. That's a good question, I have no idea. Maybe someone else in the chat knows. Here we have another 787-10 Dreamliner. This one is going to San Francisco. The airplane is 3 years old, first flight December 2019. So if you guys just tuned in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan, currently in use for departures to the north. Runway 36 left, which together with runway 24, the Kaagbaan, is now in use for departures. At the moment the wind is blowing from the west on average. That means that there's crosswind from the left for the airplanes taking off from this runway. Temperature is around 20 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This is looking to the north. You can see a few clouds. This is looking to the west towards the North Sea. It is more open. Looking land inward to the east, you can see it is opening up. Earlier we had more clouds and more overcast conditions. And this is to the southeast-ish. To the runway threshold where the next airplane is taking off. It is an A330neo Delta Flight 57 going to Salt Lake City. The airplane is 4 years old, first flight May 2019. And Harry is tuning in again. Welcome back, Harry, good to see you. Ontario, Canada, also up early probably. Hope you're doing well there. Bjarni will be flying to Tenerife on Saturday. Also something nice to look forward to. Jim Jackson says, good morning. Awesome, all the planes, love it. Immediately subscribe, thank you so much. Do continue on this way. Always enjoying from behind the desk. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for your kind words. I'm happy that I can bring joy to you and to all other people tuning in time and again. If you're new to the channel and you are liking what you're seeing, don't be afraid to follow Jim's example and subscribe. You can turn on notifications so that whenever I go live, you get a notification. Here we have KLM flight 601. Yet another Dreamliner 10 going to LAX, so you'll be able to see its arrival either on LA flights or airline videos tonight, local time at least. It's airplane 3 years old, first flight May 2020. En Wilma, goedemorgen. Good to see you again. Hope you've had a nice weekend, Wilma. Couple of planes are underway. I overshot. There we go. Now it's time for a few narrow bodies. 3 737s 800 are coming. But before that, we are going to see this Embraer 190. It is KLM flight 1343, and she's going to Billund in a moment after having gotten clearance to take off. First, they need to wait a little bit for the wake turbulence of the preceding airplane to dissipate. And Holland Wings handled that KLM 601. That is awesome. So someone on the platform also tuning in right now. Excellent. That is so nice. You handle it. We film it over here. From one to the other. Now this Embraer 190 to Billund is 14 years old. First flight was in June 2009. Haha, and Rokost was working on it. Awesome. Hey there, John, who says, good morning, great show. I'm in awe of your ability to identify the planes so quickly. I'm still learning. Looks so similar to me. Well, first of all, I use Flight Radar to help me with that. And second of all, practice makes perfect. It's just a matter of watching a lot of airplanes for a long time and you'll instantly start to recognize them. Here we have the first of 3 consecutive 737-800s. KLM flight 1009 going to London Heathrow. 12-year-old airplane, first flight May 2011. Definitely see there's crosswind from the left. The prevailing wind on average is coming from the west today, varying a bit between northwest and southwest, but on average from the west, so that is perpendicular to the runway heading. Coming from the left as a visual cue, you can see chimney smoke in the distance. And also a windsock at the fire station. Looks like it's more from the northwest at the moment. Now you guys could also hear the next 737 already spool up. a KLM flight to Helsinki. This airplane is 24 years old. First flight was in April 1999, so we have a millennial on our hands. And Han asks, did I miss anything? Well, only the most important things. Here we have a Ryanair 737-800. Off to Dublin, flight 421. Relatively new airplane, this one, 4 years old, first flight November 2018. And in the meantime, Pete is checking in from Sydney. Thank you so much for joining and for your kind words. Now, I already was told that it is cold and rainy down under right now. Winter has indeed arrived for you guys. Now, it won't be long before we'll be getting the same kind of weather over here in the Netherlands again as well. Although I hope I am wrong and we might get to see a nice Indian summer. In the meantime, let me try and see if I can pronounce this properly. Tambapani Diaries is checking in from Sri Lanka. Good afternoon, where it is 2:15 p.m. So that is 4 hours, 4.5 hours, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours later than it is over here. And Rehan Fernando also checking in from Sri Lanka. Loving your stream, he says. Thank you so much for your kind words and welcome. Nice to see viewers from Sri Lanka also finding the stream. All new viewers, do feel free to say hi. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. People over here are friendly, and also if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask knowledgeable people over here in the chat. We're waiting for traffic to come this way, and we have a few heavies that are underway. The first one of which is going to be a Delta A330. And behind it is a 777-200 going to Newark from United. And I thought we would be, yeah, there it is. I would have thought it was able to, we would be able to see it. Now that is indeed the case. And Holland Wings' next plane to tow is the PHBQ A2YYZ. Now if I recall correctly, that is Toronto, right? 11:40 a.m. And I did pronounce Tambapani correct 100%. Happy to get the feedback. Also, if I mispronounce names, do let me know. I am only human after all. We're waiting for the heavies to come this way. But these two are underway. In the meantime, the yellow pickup truck from the bird controller that popped through our view earlier is now on the other side of the runway, near the threshold. If you're new to the channel and you're interested in the tools that these guys are using, they have several at their disposal, fireworks, but also other stuff, a soundboard. We got a free demonstration yesterday of all the tools in the toolbox. I have it timestamped, so if you want to check it out, it's yesterday's stream. I think it was one of the first highlights that I timestamped in the stream. And yes, Rehan, it is a bit blurry. Heat distortion, even in the winter. My camera picks up on it real well. Even in the winter you have heat distortion if you, for instance, look back to the main platform area. And hey Aphrodite, goedemorgen. It is a lot cooler now, isn't it? Day and night difference, literally. Bird controller K3 on patrol. Let's not linger too long. So this is a Delta A330-300 to Atlanta, Georgia. Flight 73. This airplane is 17 years old. First flight was in July 2005. Is there crosswind from the left, you might wonder? Yes, there is. Very well noticed. Now it is opening up nicely over here. We did have more clouds in the early morning. The prevailing wind from the west on average bringing the clear blue skies that were there all along. You can definitely see that the clouds we had closer by are getting blown away to the east. It is opening up nicely over here. Hey there Mario, goedemorgen, good morning. Morgan, checking in from Berlin. So United is taxiing to the runway threshold. Meanwhile, the pipeline is also filling again. Is that a China cargo? Yeah, China Southern Cargo 777 outbound to Shanghai, coming this way, and a little Vueling to Bilbao behind it. Oh dear, break for Holland Wings is over. Have a nice day, thanks for joining. Werkse. Now in the meantime, we can also see that runway 18 center, 36 center is being used for arrivals. So I have to update the ticker in a moment. anyway. Here we have United Flight 71 going to Newark. We're looking at a 777-200 that is 21 years old already. First flight was in December 2001, so just a few months after 9/11. If you put it like that, it sounds like far away already, or at least in my ears it does. So, as we could see on the wind sec, the direction of the wind seems to have changed and have become more northwest at the moment, which is probably why they also changed runway configuration and started using the center north-south oriented runway for arrivals. Let me do an update of the entire ticker in the moment that we are waiting for the next airplane. Copy paste the latest meter and check the latest runway usage. Now in terms of the weather, not a whole lot has changed. Let me have a look on lvnl.nl while I'm on the computer. Oh, it says something different. It still says the old runway configuration, so it hasn't updated yet. Let's do that in a minute then. I do have an update for the weather. So I updated the ticker right now. Let me take you through it. But before that, thank you so much, Alvin, for a very generous super sticker saying per character flying in the air with a red cape and a smile on his face. Well, that gives me a smile on my face. Thank you so much for that, Alvin. Really generous super sticker there. Thank you so much for your ongoing support there, mate. You really shouldn't have, but I'm very grateful nonetheless. Looking in the ticker, I have updated the weather. It is from 8:25 Zulu, so that is 10:25 AM local time. The wind is now from 290, 14 knots, so it is northwest-ish, northeast, west, northwest-ish. Oh, no time to waste. First things first. And that is this departure. So this is China Southern Cargo, flight 496, 777 freighter to Shanghai. So a 777 freighter to Shanghai, 7 years old, first flight June 2015. Now, I think we have the first Vueling of the day. It is an A320, a regular one, old-fashioned, flight 8 A355 going to Bilbao. That's in the north. What's that area called again? Huh. Can't seem to remember. That part that has been fighting for its own status so long. Anyway, Bilbao. A320, 10 years old, first flight May 2013. Basque, that's it. Baskeland in Dutch. That's right. So that is where this airplane is going to. And Mike, good morning. Tuning in from the UK. Good morning. They already say hi to Peter PDK. We have a lot of Peters. Not sure if I said hi to you, but if I did, then again, good morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Now next up, LOT. Polish Airlines going to Warsaw. It is an Embraer 190, flight 266. This airplane is 14 years old. First flight was in January 2009. Ooh. So it is a mixed day for Aphrodite then. On the one hand, cooler weather, reason for celebration, last day of the vacation, sadness. Now, visibility over here is still really good. You can even see the airplanes for a long period of time if you want to. This is the last of the current batch, so maybe we can follow this a bit longer. Embraer 190 going to Hamburg. KLM flight 1779. It is a 13-year-old airplane that had its first flight in January 2010, going to Hamburg, so that is in the north of Germany. This airplane will probably fly out towards Groningen then. Benjamin is informing us that it looks like the 777-300 to Johannesburg might be on their way to this runway. That is good news. In the meantime, let's see how long we can follow this little Embraer. Now typically Polderbaan departures follow runway heading until they reach the Amsterdam, the North Sea Canal that goes from the North Sea through Amsterdam to Markermeer. They typically start turning left and right, or right, once they reach that body of water. Mind you, that's not always the case, but a lot of the times it is. Another airplane seems to have gone. I think it was my camera that lost focus. Yeah, it's my camera that has lost focus. Stupid camera. Now we're waiting for the next airplane in the pipeline to come. There's a batch of 3 by the looks of it. In the water it is still quiet. The ducks are still sound asleep by the looks of it. The coots and grebes as well. We haven't seen any thus far. Also no predator birds. In terms of wildlife, it has been really quiet so far, but we know from experience by now that most of the birds are not early birds. The aquatic birds are not early birds, I should say. In the meantime, the next traffic is underway. A couple of them. Now we have the Spottersplaats parking place over here. That's the official parking place for Spottersplaats. You can also find Spottersplaats Polderbaan on Google Maps and it will indicate this parking lot. Dixies in the corner for both men and women to do their thing if nature calls. There's a fence where people can stand, watch airplanes from the parking lot itself. You can also leave the parking and walk further to the north. There is the cycling path. Yesterday I was stood on that side in the grass next to the cycling path. If traffic is arriving on Polderbaan, or if you want to see the rotation of departing traffic, that's the place to go to. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Schiphol, you can see there's only a few bridges with fences. For the rest, the entire area is basically surrounded by water. My guess is that these are shallow canals as well. I haven't tried it myself, nor am I going to on anytime soon, but I have a sneaking suspicion that these waters are not very deep. Air Baltic will be going to the runway threshold. More traffic is coming this way. You can also see it on flight radar because they now have to go around and cannot cross runway 18 center, 36 center. We're going to see some nice action, a nice mix of both narrow bodies and heavies. In the meantime, Missy Ghost, good morning. Welcome back, good to see you. So, just took a sip of water and back to the camera. It is Air Baltic A220, the third one I believe we are seeing now. Flight 962 going to Vilnius. This airplane is 1 year old. First flight was in February 2022. Right, no time to waste. 777 time, ladies and gentlemen. This is KLM flight 591 777-300ER going to Johannesburg, South Africa. It is a 7-year-old airplane that had its first flight in May 2016. Also, Benjamin is saying that another A330-300 will be coming soon as well. That is good news. The more the merrier. Quite a few airplanes on the move. You can also see American Airlines to Philadelphia. And also a C-56, a private jet, will be coming this way to take off. That's also interesting. Don't get to see them very often. Hopefully it will take off from the entrance where we are standing in line with. Get a nice head-on shot in the cockpit of a private jet in a moment. Crosswind from the left? Why are you asking? Well, I can also see an A350 that is going to Taipei that is also being pushed back. Wouldn't it be awesome to see that one as well? Fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. For now, this is Georgian Airways flight 9652 outbound to Tbilisi. It is a Boeing 737-700. She is 13 years old and its first flight was in November 2009. Georgian Airways to Tbilisi. Oh. And the first duck of the day just landed behind me, by the looks of it. Oh, and we have a pair of coots. So the birds have awoken. Their necks even moving synchronous in sync. While the Georgian 737 is waiting, this is the duck we saw land. I saw land behind me just now. Looks to be a solitary duck. But we have some action in the water for the first time this morning. So yeah, 11 o'clock. What a time to wake up. Not a bad life being a duck or a coot by the sound of it. Hey there David, good morning. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Yes, Jelle, goedemorgen, good morning. Hey George, goedemorgen, good morning. You're all in time. We're about to get some nice varied action. A few heavies and a few narrow bodies are on the move. Just wondering what the current runway usage is. It wasn't updated earlier, so let me have another look in a minute. Hey Jean-Yves, salut, good morning. Comment ça va? En Liewe, Daniel, goedemorgen, good morning. Good to see you all again. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves and are doing well. It is nice from the northwest at the moment on average. Temperature lies around 20 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me see if I can update the ticker, because I think the new runway usage should be available right now. Let's see, current status. Yeah, this is the only runway for departures, and center and 27 are both in use for arrivals. So let me update that. 27 and 36 center and 36 left, only used for departures. There we go, ticker has been updated. Very good news indeed. So we're standing next to the only runway in use for departures right now, ladies and gentlemen. That is good news, means that all outbound traffic that you see will be coming this way for the moment. And hey there, yo, goeiemorgen, good morning. Good morning, boy. Sorry, I mean boy. First time somebody mistook my name for boy. Love it, excellent. 2 airplanes nearby. Pipeline further out, gradually filling. And here is that private jet that is also going to take off from this runway. I will be keeping an eye out for it. If it comes directly towards us, I might forgo any other traffic. Probably the A320, just to get a nice head-on shot. This is Delta Airlines Flight 47 going to New York JFK. You guys all know the airplane type, and your neighbors will probably recognize the noise. This is an Airbus A330-300. And this particular one is 8 years old and had its first flight in January 2015. Hey there, Mol. Good morning. Gerrit, goedemorgen. Good morning. Now, where is that private jet? Oh, it is moving already to the... Where is it? Oh, it is so small, but it is already moving to the runway threshold, so we unfortunately do not get a nice head-on shot. And ome Gerrit uit Rijnsburg. You're welcome. I like giving attention to the birds in the water as well. It's something that you get to see when you're standing here, and what I'm trying to do is give you the experience as if you were standing here with me. So that includes all the distractions that you see in the air, whether it be contrails or in the water, be it birds, fires in the distance, vehicles passing by. I want you to feel like you're standing here next to me, or sitting next to me, more comfortable of course. I'm standing, but you guys are perfectly fine to sit down. Hey Sander, goedemorgen. John asks, are those engines flat on the bottom? That is a good question. Don't know. And Yo asks, any A220 aircraft in action today? Well, we have seen 3 already. All 3 from Air Baltic have already taken off. Anyway, this is Bulgaria Air going to Sofia, A320. flight 462. This airplane is 17 years old. First flight was in October 2005. Hey Remco, hoi daar! And Yorkshire, good morning! Hope you're doing well, mate. Let us turn around the camera quickly, zoom in fully. And even then it is still a small plane. You don't get to see private jets that often. This is ASL Private Jet Services going from Amsterdam to Liège, a Cessna 560 XL Citation. 9 years old, first flight January 2014. And yes, Richard, I did read about that news. How a guy got sucked into an engine and did not come out alive. That is not an unexpected outcome, unfortunately. Very tragic. Hey Janus, good morning. Checking in from Athens. And Remco confirming A350 China Air coming. Very good news. Now, Cessna Citation 560 XL. Here he goes. The airplane is 9 years old, going to Liège in Belgium. Short flight, probably a short takeoff roll, regardless. It is a light airplane. Was a bit hesitant there. Do I need to zoom out or not? In the end, just a little maybe. And you can see it is already quite high and far away. Now we have an airplane waiting over here, but it is holding short in favor of the Airbus that is lined up on the runway threshold. It is already on the move. No time to waste. EasyJet A319 going to London Luton. -16-year-old airplane, first flight September 2006. In the meantime, we can hear the 737 lining up. Oh no, it is just getting closer by. No, it is actually going onto the runway, skipping the line before the American Airlines Dreamliner that is already lined up on the runway threshold. KLM flight 1109, Boeing 7378, going to Stockholm, 15 years old, first flight March 2008. Hey Mint, goedemorgen. Checking in from Leiden. Right, no time to waste. Spooling up right now, American Airlines Flight 203, Boeing 7878 Dreamliner to Philadelphia. This airplane is 7 years old, first flight July 2015. So if you just tuned in, welcome to AMS Live. My name is Boy and you're watching departures on Polderbaan, runway 36 left, currently the only runway in use for departures. The prevailing wind from the northwest. Temperature around 20 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The weather, as you can see, it is opening up quite nicely. This is where the wind is blowing from. And this is what it is blowing away to the east. More clouds over here, more sun. Next up to depart is one of the many Embraers that KLM City Hopper has. It is flight 1855 to Düsseldorf. It is an Embraer 190. She is 9 years old. First flight was in October 2013. And super hello from Innsbruck. Peppy Pittel says, Servus Peppy, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. All other viewers who are new to the channel, welcome. If you're new, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. Friendly folk over here. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. We have very knowledgeable people over here in the chat as well. There are a few big birds coming after this Embraer. The pipeline is filling up nicely while the Embraer is waiting for the clearance. You can see that there is another Dreamliner coming, Air Europa if I'm not mistaken. This has the markings of a 777. And we can even see further upstream in the pipeline the airplanes that are taxiing around. Ooh, nice, nice. I was looking forward to that. This is Austrian Airlines in the retro livery. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, it is. I think it's going to Vienna. We're going to see a retro liveried airplane in a moment. Because they have to go around the northern threshold, we can even see them well in advance. You can visualize the pipeline, so to speak. First up, this Embraer 190 going to Düsseldorf, KLM flight 1855. This airplane is 9 years old. First flight was in October 2013. Short flight, Düsseldorf, one of the nearest by destinations you can fly to from Amsterdam. In the meantime, good morning to Dreamliner Robert, Ian Graham, good morning. Speedbird1, good morning to you too. And also a nice super chat from Speedbird there. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Great show as usual. Thank you so much for your kind words. We're waiting for the next airplane, Air Europa. It is now going to the runway threshold. The triple is also getting closer by. A350 in the background, clearly recognizable. More is underway. We can see it over here. think. Is that also traffic coming this way? Hard to see. We're going to see another private jet, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So maybe this one will go to the entrance of the runway over here. Net jets going to come. Can see it just in the middle of the screen. Meanwhile, Air Europa going to Madrid, flight 1098. Boeing 7878 Dreamliner this is. 6 years old, first flight September 2016. Let's quickly turn around because behind me a 777 from Turkish is lining up. Also, look at that magnificent A350 that we'll also see in a moment. Beautiful. What a view. It is the pipeline, ladies and gentlemen, visualized. Also, the little net jets to come. First up, 777 time, Turkish cargo. On its way to Istanbul. This is a 777 freighter, 3 years old, first flight February 2020. And Aphrodite is back. Your timing is perfect. Also visible the Austrian Airlines retro livery. Look at that, pretty. Sehr schön. Now, before we'll see the Austrian, we also have the NetJets BizJet to come. Also not bad. Ooh, turn and burn. Going to Taipei. China Airlines, flight 74, A350-900. 6 years old, first flight May 2017. Landing traffic in the background, parallel. Right, now, next up is a NetJets Europe flight to Cannes. And it is a Cessna 680A Citation Latitude according to flight radar. I immediately believe it when they say so. This airplane is relatively new, 2 years old. First flight was in January 2021. NetJet's Cessna Citation to Cannes in France. Is the film festival beginning already? I don't know. It is a lovely plane though. Also looking on my laptop where I can see it a bit enlarged. Not exactly upright winglets, but they do curve up a little bit. Yeah, it is tiny, isn't it, Aphrodite? This is being fully zoomed in. Also, the image is a little shaky, but that is because of the wind. Maybe if I fixate it, it's a bit more stable. Yeah, locking the tripod head helps a little bit. Now I have to unlock it again because it is moving. Now, let's just zoom out a little bit. Learned my lesson. Awesome to see biz traffic also coming to this runway for departing. We don't get to see biz jets up close that often, so... And damn if that isn't high already. Well, next up, a retro livery from Austrian Airlines, also sehr schön. Going to Vienna indeed. It is an A320 flight 372 Airbus A320-200. 25 years old, this airplane. It is not a retro livery, it was just the current livery at the time. First flight December 1997. And hey there, Mulu, who is tuning in from Melbourne. Kalidos asks, until when am I filming? Well, don't know for sure yet. Probably until somewhere around 12:30 to 1 o'clock. And Mint says that Austrian plane is older than me. Oh dear. Very old airplane then. Next up, KLM flight 537 to Kigali. A330-300. This is going to get loud. Now this A330-300 is 11 years old and had its first flight in February 2012. You can see that the airplanes taking off still have to struggle a little bit with crosswind. If you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live and my name is Boy. This is the Polderbaan runway 36 left where we are standing next to. Currently the only runway in use for departures. The prevailing wind is blowing from the west-northwest approximately. So there's crosswind from the left for the airplanes taking off. The wind was around 14 knots last time I checked the meter. So it's not wind still. You can also see the ripples in the water. You might even hear it on the microphone every now and then, although we are a bit covered from wind because the prevailing wind, well, not so much anymore if it is from the northwest. Right, now, hey Evan, sup my man? Good to see you again. Here we have an airplane that we also don't see very often. It is an Embraer 145. It is an Air Charters Europe, flight 394, going to Hanover in Germany. An Embraer ERJ-15R long range, 16 years old, registered in the Netherlands, PHDWA is its registration. Old school sound. Embraer 145, ladies and gentlemen. Another plane that you don't see very often. And Richard's speakers are done for because of the volume of the airplanes taking off. Hey, but good to see you again, Evan. Missed you over the weekend. Hope you're doing well, mate. Also saw your super sticker, smiling face with sunglasses. Hopefully it is sunny over there as well. Thank you so much there, Evan. And good afternoon to Josegi. Now, more traffic underway. Let's see what is in the pipeline. First up, Delta A330 to Boston. Further up in the distance, SAS A320neo to Oslo. And hey, Mira Bella Chica. Hey to you too there. Let's see what else is in store. I can see a United Dreamliner to Chicago. Looks like it's still at the gate. Delta A350 has also become active. Singapore Airlines A350, but is it moving already to, I think 24 is also open again. Yeah, 24 is also open for departure, so that means Singapore A350 will be taking off from there, and also a 777 to Dubai will also be going there, I think. That is unfortunate. Huh. So they reopened 24. That's a pity. The air traffic controller website is still lagging a little bit. Alrighty, A330 time. So this was the A330-300 to Boston that just took to the sky. Flight 259. Gear is going up as well by the looks of it. This airplane is 7 years old. First flight was in January 2016. In the meantime, the A320neo from SAS is lining up on the runway threshold. SAS flight 822, an A320neo to Oslo. The airplane 3 years old, first flight October 2019. And in the meantime, I see a nice super chat from Daniel. Says, cheers for the best stream out there. Big words are those. Thank you so much for your kind words there, Daniel. Really appreciate it. Not sure if I'm the best, but I do hope to be one of the best. Here we go. A320neo to Oslo. Now, we haven't had a lot of changes in the wind, but we are seeing a change in runway configuration. 24 also being open again, although the app for the current runway usage is saying that Polderbaan is also still open. 27 is now in use for arrivals. Let me show you what we can see of arrivals. This is what you can see from over here. Now these are landing on the runway that you can see best when you're standing at the McDonald's Spottersplatz. They're arriving from the east, heading west. And in the winter time you might be able to see a bit more when the trees are not in leaf. This time of year, of course, the trees are obscuring the view somewhat. I think there's nothing you can see. That these are parking places, I think, where the airplanes are situated. So you are able to see something. Gurkenhobel says, good camera work. Thank you so much, my friend. Hey Jackie, goedemorgen. Welcome back. You missed a lot. So much, it's hard to know where to begin. So air traffic for runway 27, it is visible, but only a little bit. Let me see, there is another airplane coming in 427. Is it over there? Yeah. So it is really not a whole lot that you can see. We are seeing some traffic coming this way. If I look to the right. Now, I'm not sure if the A380 is running on time or if it is delayed. It will land on the runway that this airplane is now flying towards if the current runway configuration stays in place. So in terms of watching the A380, this is what we might be able to see later. Also in terms of departing traffic from 24, that is a bit closer by, particularly if they are turning to the north. So anything with a northern destination, well, will be coming to the Polderbaan, almost per definition. But you are able to see airplanes take off relatively well from over here. At the moment there's an Embraer 190 to Aberdeen taxiing this way, but I also see a big bird that is, let's see, 777-200 to Houston. Taxiing north, going around the center runway. So it has to go up north first, go around the threshold, then go down again, then make a sharp right turn and come this way. But before we'll see that, let's first have a look at this Embraer KLM flight 1445. It is an Embraer 190 going to Aberdeen. The airplane is 11 years old. First flight was in January 2012. We saw a couple of BizJets, Jackie, and also a nice retro livery Austrian Airlines A320. Other than that, just the usual traffic, a nice mix of heavies and narrow bodies. Hey Dana, good to see you again. Happy that you lived through the meeting. We all know how tedious meetings can be. If there's something that on average drains energy out of you, the upside is at least it wasn't at the end of the day, which is the worst time to have meetings. I know from personal experience. Not everybody seems to realize that, unfortunately. Now I can... Oh! Okay, so they have stopped using... Yeah, of course they did. I saw that on the update of the runway usage just now. They have stopped using the center runway, which means that the 777 doesn't have to go around the runway, but can cross it. Let me update the ticker for you guys. Runway roulette. We keep switching it up. And in the meantime, Han has just become a member. Thank you so much for your support there, Han, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. You can now also use these crazy emojis that we have available for members. If you feel like it, don't feel like you have to do that, but they are at your disposal now. Let's see. So, current runway usage. Departures 24. Oh, did I already update it? I did already update it. Yeah, I did already. No. Arrivals not on 36 center, just on 27. So departures 36 left, 24. Arrivals 27. Now, while we're at it, let's also update the METAR. Just a matter of copy pasting it. Going to flight radar. Zip. Copy. select the previous one, paste, adjust the font size and save. There we go. Well, thank you so much for joining after a free member hunt. Still a nice voucher support and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So back at the camera, United Airlines Flight 21 going to Houston, Texas in a few minutes. On its way over here, 777-200ER. This airplane is 23 years old already. September 1999 is when it started its career as an airplane. We're seeing movement in the back as well. Looks like there is a United Dreamliner also coming this way in a few minutes. Going to Chicago. Now in the ticker you can see that the temperature has increased to 20 degrees instead of 19 degrees. The wind still blowing from the west mostly. 280, 16 knots, so it has increased a little bit. Now the upside is with 16 knot winds, with the Sennheiser no crackling. With the Rode video mic I used before, you would have heard crackling by now. Let me also take this moment to take a few sips of water. Oh. Here we go then. United Airlines Flight 21 on its way to Houston, Texas. So, visibility is good as you guys can see. I think the limiting factor right now is the sun shining on my camera display, making it harder for me to follow. Not so much because the camera cannot focus on the airplane anymore. Let me switch it to manual focus just for simplicity so we don't get focus dance. This airplane is now flying in the runway heading. We'll bend off to the left in a minute. There we go. Has reached the North Sea Canal. And it will follow it west to the North Sea, where it will reach the North Sea in the vicinity of Wijk aan Zee, where Tata Steel is situated. Now you can see a few clouds and also how high they are. Once it's over the North Sea, it will continue either more up north towards Scotland or more to the west in general towards Ireland, depending on where the North Atlantic tracks are, to enter on one of the tracks and fly over the Atlantic to the United States. Now I seem to have lost the airplane, but that is because it is hiding from sight in the clouds. Not so much because I lost focus, because having had the focus on manual made it easy to keep following it. Here's our next airplane. And I did something wrong in my browser just now, so I have to re-enable the chat window again. Let me try to do that. There we go. Yeah, live chat, see all messages. All right, back at it again. Here we have a 7878 Dreamliner from United going to Chicago O'Hare. Flight 908, taxiing to the runway threshold, will take off in a few moments. This airplane is 10 years old, first flight was in October 2012. And there's also a little bit of contrail action going on. I think there is a quad passing over, although it isn't producing a very clear, distinct contrail all the time. That looks like a 747 if I judge the wing shape. Just quickly. Right. Was a brief intermezzo. Ah, 747 heading to San Francisco. Thanks for that update, Yorkshire. Where was it coming from? And hey there, Paul from Gold Coast, Australia. Southport. Good evening, mate. Ah, Frankfurt. Frankfurt to San Francisco. Well, you could see that it wasn't really, and still it doesn't produce a significant contrail. So up in the atmosphere, relatively low humidity apparently, despite more cloudiness over here on the lower levels. It was just coincidence that I saw it, and yeah, there's only one contrail that I'm seeing right now. And it is really far out. Probably won't be able to see a lot of it, but let's just give it a try because we're still waiting for the next traffic. It is underway. I can see it to the right of me, but still will take a few moments before it is over here. Now that's the only contrail that I am seeing right now in the entire sky. The 747 was just luck. And I saw something. Now, also glancing at my laptop to see if you guys are seeing something as well, but it is really hard to see. Focus is on infinity, so it should be in focus properly, but for me over here on my 3-inch screen on the camera, just a vague contrail. Probably a small jet. It is getting closer by. It is flying from southwest to northeast, and it is flying south of Schiphol. Now I'm going to abort following this airplane in favor of more easy to follow airplanes. I think we might see a head-on arrival to the runway over here, and we do. So no butt shot like yesterday, but a headshot. This is EasyJet flight 27839, Airbus A319 going to London Stansted. It is a 14-year-old airplane that had its first flight in March 2009. A320 from Vienna to Dublin. Well, no, that can't be it. That can't be it. It's flying land inward. And it's flying to the north. Paul asks, what temperature? At the moment it is 20 C. 27 last 2 days, 24 today, so it's still warmer over there at in Gold Coast than we have in the summer over here. Although yesterday we had 30 Celsius, so today is not representative. In fact, yesterday we had warm weather. I think it was still well over 25 degrees Celsius until after midnight. It only cooled down significantly in the latter half of the night over here. And it is set to get warmer over the next couple of days, just a little bit, but the highs of the upcoming week are set to lie around 24-25 degrees Celsius, so 80-ish Fahrenheit if you're used to those. More moderate than they were yesterday, at least. I think we might see another headshot coming up. Finnair, Airbus A321, flight 1302, going to Helsinki. The airplane is 6 years old. First flight was in March 2017. Hey there, foto for you. Goedemiddag. Nice. They stopped especially for us. Nice to see those exhaust gases deform what is behind it. Do we see any passengers waving to us? Don't think we do. We need more Finnish viewers. So for those of you just tuning in, welcome to the show. This is AMS Live. My name is Boy and we are standing next to the Polderbaan, runway 36 left. It is one of the two runways used for departures at the moment. The prevailing wind is from the west-northwest at the moment. Temperatures around 20 degrees Celsius. And all in all, beautiful weather. Nice summery weather. Now, a super chat and a super sticker quickly after each other, back to back. Aphrodite, thank you so much. Last day of the vacation and a nice live stream. Well, thank you so much for that, Aphrodite. I'm happy that I can bring some joy to your last day of the holiday. And after that, almost immediately after that, Paul also gave a super sticker, cursive red lettering, spelling out vlog. Awesome, thank you so much for that, Paul. Happy to have you on the stream. Welcome. Welcome to all other viewers as well. If you are new to the channel, do say hi in the chat if you feel like it. Also, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. People over here in the chat are very knowledgeable. Friendly folk as well. We are waiting for a few airplanes to come this way. Shamrock A320 to Dublin is coming this way. Delta A330 to Portland is coming this way. Delta A330 Neo to New York JFK is coming this way. Another A350 from Delta is on the platform active. Ooh, and this would be very nice to see come this way, but I am a bit skeptical if we're going to see it. It is the Garuda Indonesia retro livery 777 to Jakarta. Now, if there's one airplane that would be awesome to see up close, it would be that one. Have a look on Flight Radar. It is a beautiful airplane. And Paul from Leiden also checking in. Good afternoon. And Marcel is informing us, Airbus A380 flyover in 5 minutes. Where is it coming from? Where is it going to? Will it be passing to the north or to the south of me? I am expecting that photo for you, opening the window and waving with a handkerchief. I think it is about time that they do that in recognition of the live streamers. We got another headshot. Aer Lingus, Shamrock, flight 603. A320 going back to Dublin. This airplane is 18 years old. First flight was in July 2004. 380 on your left, high. As in, to the north? Or to the east? I'm also looking for contrails. I don't see any. Don't see any contrails just yet. Whoa. I am looking around me, but I don't see any contrails, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. It is, despite the cloudiness, which makes you believe that there's more moisture in the upper atmospheres as well, it doesn't seem to be that way today. Oh wait, I do see an airplane that is flying without a contrail. Is that a 380? Let me see if I can... It's a long shot. Where was it? I did see it just now. That's the downside. Looking on my camera screen to adjust the focus to manual, I set the ring to infinity and I already lost it. I think for a moment I did see a big airplane high up, but it didn't have a contrail behind it. It was just pure luck that I saw it. A330neo, number 2, but A330-300 first. Nice back-to-back comparison of the old type and the new type. Delta Airlines flight 179, A330-300 going to Portland, Oregon. And there is no need to apologize for super chats that are wrong, Paul. No need to. Guten Morgen, Feldi. Herzlich willkommen. Hope you're doing well. Now, the 19-year-old A330-300 that we saw just now, compare it to the A330-900neo to New York JFK, 1 year old. So tell me, which do you like best? I think there are pluses and minuses for both airplane types. So this was Delta Airlines Flight 49, an A330neo going to New York JFK, just 1 year old, first flight June 2022. All right, well, we have an airplane that for some reason doesn't show on flight radar. What if I get rid of the filters? Still not visible. Interesting. So this is I don't know. Destination I don't know. Is it moving? Yeah, what could it be doing? Anyway, it is, I believe, a CRJ 900. So it is probably from SAS or Lufthansa. Over here on flight radar, it didn't show the airplane for some reason. Right, well, anyway. Quickly back to the runway threshold because it is 777 time. KLM flight 691, 777-200, ER going to Toronto. The YYZ. And we all know who did the handling. This airplane is 19 years old, first flight September 2003. Alright, gear is retracting. Took a little. Alright, SAS to Copenhagen. Figured so much. Flight radar doesn't always show all airplanes, or sometimes they falsely register them to a different place of origin or whatever. It happens every now and then. Fortunately, the majority is reliable. Here, an Embraer 175. It is going to Inverness, flight 927. The airplane is 5 years old. First flight was in October 2017. And in the meantime, I see that Paul just became a member. Thank you so much for your support and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. You can now use such emojis as Duck Hunt Dog when we go duck hunting. Although, speaking of ducks, other than the one that I showed you earlier and the two coots that swam by momentarily, it is still awfully quiet over here. So, really not a whole lot going on in the water. There is a bird in the distance. Not sure if there are birds over here as well. Nothing over here. Just water and grass. Little pipe. Now, whenever I see an Embraer 190 from British Airways, I always know it is going to fly to London City. I didn't have the time to check flight radar yet, but it is confirming it is going to London City. Speedbird flight 8452 this is. Short flight, and this airplane is 13 years old. First flight was in January 2010. Yes, photo for you. I did see a few, what do you call them, tail strikes or whatever. Some waves in the water caused by fish just below the surface. Another departure from runway 24. And it seems that the sky is getting a bit more milky to the south, if you look closely. Looking up, still no contrails to see. Now, earlier, looking to the west, we had mostly blue sky. However, now, for the first time around, when I show you guys the west, you can see more clouds. I believe it was said that there might be a rain shower developing inland later in the day. Doesn't seem to be any immediate threat over here right now. Now, in the meantime, I see that Stranger was so kind to give a nice super chat saying hello to Boy and the birds. Well, hello to you too, Stranger. Welcome back, good to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Aphrodite is having breakfast. Nice. Enjoy your breakfast. In the meantime, time to go back to the camera. We have another head-on shot over here. KLM flight 1281. It's going to be a turn and burn by the sound of it. Going to Edinburgh. And this 737-800 to Edinburgh is 15 years old. First flight was in May 2008. So if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. This is AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing next to the Polderbaan. This is runway 36 left, currently one of the two runways in use for departures, together with runway 24. The prevailing wind is blowing from the west. And gauging, it is on average, it is varying between southwest and northwest. It's always changing up a little bit. It looks like, well, it's at least blowing away from us. That much we can say with certainty. Let's go to the windsock over at the fire station. What is it telling us? It is ever so slightly from the northwest by the looks of it. The airplanes are taking off to the north. This is the north. The water is parallel to the runway, meaning that this is approximately to the east. and the wind is blowing from the west to northwest, so that is almost perpendicular to the runway heading. Landing airplanes are landing on runway 27 from the east to the west, also visible from over here, albeit not very long and very detailed. Arriving traffic to runway 27. Hey there Husky, also checking in. Nelly, goedemiddag. Yeah, it is good afternoon already. Now let me have a look. On flight radar we are also seeing a few airplanes coming this way in the distance. Is that the red play that we see? I think it is. The bright red A320neo over on the right hand side. Going back to Reykjavik. Doesn't necessarily have to be pretty, but it is a very striking livery in the bright red. Now we already saw a big bird on the left. It is the Boeing 767-400 from United going to Washington DC. Now 737s you see regularly still over here. Iceland Air has a 767-300ER that they regularly fly to Amsterdam together with the 757 on occasion and a couple of 737 Maxes. However, the 400 is rather more rare. Although it has to be said that this particular airplane is flying up and down to Amsterdam for a while now. But that is typical. You see them a few times in a row and then all of a sudden for a while you don't see them at all anymore. So, hey Kathleen! Quick hello, pretty busy this morning, but wanted to say hi to Boy and all. Well, hi to you too, Kathleen. Hope you're doing well. I figured you were probably busy over the weekend. If you ever want to see the tools that the bird controllers have at their disposal over here, do check yesterday's stream. I timestamped a nice demonstration of the bird controller where you can hear the sounds of predator birds on their soundboard, plus both types of fireworks that they apply. We had a free demonstration. It was like the bird controller was reading my mind. I was informing the viewers of what tricks they had up they have up their sleeve, and as if by telepathy they demonstrated it. So this is indeed play going back to Reykjavik. Bright red airplanes, new Neos. It is the successor of Wow Air that back in the day flew as a budget carrier, I think, between Iceland and Europe, the rest of Europe, until it went bankrupt, as so many airplane carriers do over time. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you a Boeing 767-400. So this is United Airlines flight 947 going to Washington. And this 767-400ER is 22 years old, ladies and gentlemen. It began its career as an airplane in August 2000. Now, play A320neo going to Reykjavik, taking off from the runway threshold instead of the entrance over here. So no close-up shots, unfortunately. We have to make do with this over here. Ah, wow, used to fly to the United States as well. It figures, of course, being in the middle of both continents, more or less. So this is play flight 461 A320neo going back to Reykjavik. It is an A320neo that is brand new according to Flight Radar. Had its first flight in October last year. And indeed, very striking. That is a nice description there, Donna. Flying lipstick. Definitely not. I definitely did not think of that one, but now that you mention it, the flying lipstick. In the meantime, an Embraer 175 to Oslo taking off. Okay, then flight 1145. And this Oslo bound airplane is 6 years in use now. First flight was in July 2016. Now against the backdrop it might look like it is very cloudy, but actually that is just in the distance. For the majority over here it is still blue sky, although where I'm standing the sun is hiding from us for a moment behind a cloud. Overall, still nice and sunny. Also still really cool compared with yesterday. Yesterday we had highs of 30 degrees Celsius or about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now it is 10 degrees Celsius cooler, around 20 degrees Celsius or around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Much better weather. In fact, I am standing here with jeans on and with a vest on. Saves me a few minutes of applying sunscreen. Also, it was a bit chilly in the morning. We did get to see a few Vuelings this morning as well. Not sure if there are any in the pipeline right now. Now the EasyJet is, the Neo is going to the runway threshold. And the Embraer is following its way. Let's see what else is underway. The first E2 Embraer 195 of the day, going to Bergen, will be coming this way, visible in the distance. Now we have seen a couple of aborted takeoffs from the E2 Embraers, so they are a bit susceptible for that. So it's always interesting to see if they are taking off or aborting and going back to the gate. I think it was a week ago that we saw the last instance, the most recent instance. Anyway, you can also tell that the wind has picked up somewhat by the vibrations in the footage. Hopefully it's not too bad yet, otherwise I might have to resort to enabling image stabilization. This is an A320neo from EasyJet, going to London Luton. 6 years old already. First flight was in May 2017. Okay. Makes me want to look up when the first Neos were actually going, well, not in production but in commercial use. So apparently they have been flying for more than 6 years already. Right, next up, Embraer 190, KLM flight 1157, going to Gothenburg. The airplane is 12 years old, first flight was in August 2010. Still looking up and around me to see if maybe now we start seeing some more contrails, but hard to see any at the moment. I don't see any actually. Bit unfortunate. Now there is an E2 Embraer 195 over at the runway threshold. It is the first E2 of the day. Let's see if it takes off. It is going to Bergen. KLM flight 1187, 2-year-old airplane. Okay. Takeoff thrust set. Looks like it's going to depart normally. Yeah, rotating already. Leading in the wind a little bit. All right. Well, there are a lot of Pauls in the chat and also Peters. If you guys could just think of more original names. There are many Peters and many Pauls in the chat. Hey, what is this? Oh, that is arriving traffic. Probably on 7,000 feet crossing. Where is it? Come on. There we go. So crossing from west to east, north of me. Probably at 7,000 feet. Flying downwind for arrival on runway 27 in a few minutes. I think, judging from experience with the go-around of the A380 a few weeks ago, that I was able to follow the entire circuit, we might be able to see the entire circuit of this airplane as well, as it is now flying downwind, and we'll make a right-hand turn to flight base if it has gone far enough. Oh, clouds interfering. Quickly switching over to manual focus. I think the clouds are interfering the most right now. Oh, it is turning base right now. But it's doing so behind the cloud. I think the clouds are obscuring the view. I'm guessing it would be somewhere around here by now. Now I think it is lost behind the clouds. Yeah, no, unfortunately, with the clouds now also a bit lower, it is obscuring the view, unfortunately. Too bad. Okay, Wilma has to go. If you're still around, thanks for joining, Wilma. See you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Right, next up, China Eastern, is that? China Eastern Airlines. 777 going to Shanghai, coming this way. Dreamliner 10 going to Chicago behind it. We are seeing a few more heavies. Oh, K2 is doing a patrol round. Now's the right time to do so. So where is that A380? Is it nearby? Has it landed already? Has anybody... I'm just checking flight radar as we speak. Lufty arrive approaching 34,000 feet. What's the origin and destination? Photo for you. And what direction will it be coming from? Will it be flying north or south of me? Zuidoost. Don't see the A380. That is coming to Amsterdam. I'm looking up to see if I can spot the Lufthansa 747. It doesn't produce a contrail, that much I can tell you, because I don't see any contrails right now. Also much more milkiness in the sky right now. I don't see anything, but just to give you an idea of what is over me right now, more milkiness. Definitely getting a bit more hazy in the sky right now. So in the meantime, okay, A380 42 minutes out. Well, we're not going to see it then. So two heavies at the moment coming this way, a 777 and a Dreamliner. Looks like there's another Delta Airlines A330 on the move. I'm also seeing an A350, but it is still at the gate. Has been for a while. So this is our next airplane, ladies and gentlemen, China Eastern. Was having a look on flight radar to see what else could possibly be in the pipeline. Bit hard to see from right over here. There are airplanes active on flight radar, but they don't seem to be on the move just yet, with the exception of an A330 that is also coming this way. This is China Eastern Airlines, flight 772. Now that is typical because this is a Boeing 773, Boeing 777-300ER. It's going to Shanghai. This airplane is 7 years old. First flight was in April 2016. Now this might get a little loud, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, Mario, what a sound! Mario, sorry. The sun is, when I'm pointing the camera like so, the sun is shining on my camera screen and also on my phone screen, so I'm looking at minor details. And they are getting a bit obscured by the sun and reflections all over. Maybe look into that sunscreen for the screens I'm using. Next up, KLM flight 611, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner to Chicago. GE90 versus GENX. And beautiful flex in the wings, of course. And away she goes. The airplane, by the way, 2 years old. First flight was in August 2020. And a nice backdrop of Dutch sky, clouds and a bit of milky higher clouds behind it. A Dutch sky indeed, I would say. Now, interestingly, I have to be careful that I don't pull any wires. There is a bit of tension on it, but this is to the southwest. Let me show you a bit more of the sky. Southwest, west, northwest. Do see some more activation of clouds over at sea. I'm thinking that might be the beginning of some rain shower formation later in the day. So, let's have a look. It is that moment again where it is a bit slow at the moment. What can we expect? I see a lot of movement on the platform and I see most of it going to runway 24. There's even a Delta Airlines underway that seems to be taxiing away from us. Delta Airlines flight 164, A330-300, or is it turning now? Oh, it might be turning. Dreamliner to Nairobi is not going over here. Let's see. Well, I think we might have reached a natural moment to wrap up the stream, because there is no air traffic coming to this runway just yet. It will probably take at least 5 to 10 minutes before we'll see new traffic over here. It is 1 p.m. I've been streaming now for almost 3.5 hours, so I think this might be a good moment for me to wrap up and say thank you to each and every one of you for joining me here today. And hey there, Aaron. Been online for a while, but had the stream on in the background. Well, you're just in time to say hi and goodbye then. I'm going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for joining me. I've had a blast and I hope you guys did too. I'm looking to go out again later in the week, although I'm not sure yet if I'm going to go out on Thursday. Normally speaking, that would be the first day of me going out again, but they are predicting rain, and I'm not sure yet if it's going to be throughout the day or just in the AM or PM. The same goes for Saturday. So I have to base my streaming on the weather. Not going to go out if it's going to rain and pour the entire day. I'll have a look. I'll keep you guys updated. Friday is looking like it's going to be a nice weather day again, and also in the weekend. So I'm sure we'll meet again then. Maybe on Thursday. I'll keep that in check and I'll let you guys know as soon as I know more. Thanks to all who were so kind to donate super chats, super stickers, become a member, donate memberships. You guys are the best, and this channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. Thank you all so much. I hope to see you again soon. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I will see you again when I'll see you. Bye for now.